Hey, what's up everyone? This is Silver Slayer. Thank you for tuning into this video. Oh my gosh. Things are getting crazy, ladies and gentlemen. Things are getting interesting. Silver, gold, platinum, and palladium, all in the red. We saw close to $11 silver. The lowest I've ever seen it in my 8 years of silver stacking. This is getting pretty interesting. I'm not going to say scary because if you know me, you know I understand the real value that gold and silver have to bring to the table, and I hope you do too. I hope you are not panicking too much in these times and look at this as an opportunity to buy some very, very, very cheap silver. It's like going to the store. If you go to the store and you see something that says 75% off, discount, 75% off, you're going to be happy when that happens, right? You're not going to freak out and be mad about it. You're going to be happy. It's an opportunity to buy something you really like for extremely cheap. What's the difference between that and precious metals? You know it's going to go back up. Let's look at the all-time chart for silver. The all-time chart. So by the way, you realize silver's been valuable for 6,000 years. What makes any difference between today, tomorrow, a couple of years from now? Look at this. So, silver goes up and down. $12, all the way up to $20, back down to $9, up to $50, back down to $30, 27, 30, 14, 20, 14, 20. The pattern is the same. There is real value right here. There's real value, meaning that silver more than likely will never get back down to this range because of its intrinsic uses. It has industrial applications that go beyond what people can really comprehend. And if you're going to think that silver is going to keep crashing all the way down to zero, then that's a lack of understanding what intrinsic value means. Now, COVID-19 is bringing a very interesting point into things right now because things could get worse. But we already see, let's look at this 24-hour chart, we already see a lot of support right here. That means a lot of people bought back up. There is a buy line right here. And you can see the same thing with gold. There's a lot of support right here. So it looks like things are going to go back up. So do not be scared right now. Please don't be scared. Silver crashes to the $11 handle to 11-year lows. 11-year lows right now. That just means this is the cheapest silver's been in 11 years, and this is the best time to buy it in 11 years. In 11 years, this is the best time to buy silver. That's something that's good. So, silver is hit by broad-based selling. This is panic selling, people. This is what I explained not to do. Silver suffers from market panic as investors get out of most asset classes to raise cash. People are selling because they want their cash. By the way, the links to all these articles will be in the description. Now, cash is king, right? Cash is definitely necessary for any type of investment or for any type of survival. Food, water, and shelter. Your silver is not going to feed you, but it can be used to trade and barter with. Now, when we're looking at a global pandemic, people running around with like a chicken with their heads cut off, that's really bringing a new perspective into things because all rational thinking is out the window at this point. All rational thinking is out the window. Everything is being run off of fear and speculation, which is the worst thing to do. It is the worst thing to do. The worst. Yes, 60% of the world's probably going to catch COVID-19, but 95% of the people recover from it and only have mild to flu-like symptoms. So this is getting, I think, blown out of proportion to some extent, not to minimalize the lives that have been lost and how many people are affected by it, but I think it's just overly exaggerated in the markets. People are acting like the recession is here and there's nothing we can do about it. But there is. There is. And they are doing things about it. The only thing you can do as an investor is try to be as rational as possible and take the emotional attachment out. I know that's hard because it's affecting home base now. A lot of people are quarantined. It is affecting home base, so it's hard not to have some emotional involvement into it. But I promise you, when you try to act off your emotions as an investor, that's when you get bit in the butt. So, it's been a tough opening for all asset classes, including the perceived safe haven assets like gold and silver. While gold is doing rather well, only 4%, silver is being absolutely crushed down by about 15%. This selling comes despite the recent moves by the U.S. Federal Reserve to cut rates from 0% to 0.25%. Typically, lower rates are bullish for precious metals, which do not pay interest for holding them. However, this current situation is extraordinary, right? It's interesting. The market interprets the Fed's move as a sign that hard times are ahead for the U.S. economy. The consensus right now is the recession is around the corner due to coronavirus containment measures. So recession's looming. And trust me, if you're just now realizing that a recession is around the corner, then I've been saying this for several years on this channel. Several years. The coronavirus is a couple weeks old. I've been saying this for several years, that all we need is something to top it off, the icing on the cake, to really expose how severe our situation is, how broke we really are, how much in debt we really are. $24 trillion in debt. We're using a system that gets ourselves out of debt by replacing it with more debt. It's like trying to pay off a credit card with another credit card. It's not going to work. It's never going to work. So until people see this and understand this, you're going to have false hope into a failing system. Investors are in panic mode, trying to raise as much cash as they can. This is only possible reason why silver and gold can have that much downside in an environment that's theoretically bullish for them, right? And the worst part is you need gold and silver in times like this. You don't need dollars. Gold and silver are what the real value entails. And if the dollar is crashing, if the dollar is failing, then what good is a dollar going to do? Gold and silver are what can be traded and used and bartered because they have real value for them. In an SHTF scenario, a dollar is as good as a piece of toilet paper, which is actually pretty... I guess that's a bad metaphor to use because toilet paper is pretty freaking valuable right now, but you get what I'm saying. Silver is losing more ground than gold in a continuation of the previous pattern. Silver's been underperforming gold all this year. At this point, it looks like the market participants are focused on a very limited number of safe haven assets. U.S. Treasuries, who yield steadily firm below 1%, and gold, which is flat year-to-date despite the recent downside. I'd note that it is possible that silver also suffers from forced selling by those investors who got into trouble with playing the margin in other assets, which is true. That's another good point, actually. I'm glad you mentioned that, because people that did have positions in stock markets that got bit in the butt so hard, they're trying to get some of that money back, and they're almost forced to sell their gold and silver to try to make up some of that ground that they lost. So that is a good point. So here's the last article talking about gold. Will the 200 DMA provide support? Financial markets continue to be rocked in traditional correlations, and assets statues are being broken daily. Gold, one of the frontline safe haven assets, continues to be sold off despite the turmoil across the globe. A dash for cash continues, leaving all asset classes vulnerable, and gold is no exception. It remains to be seen as yesterday's emergency. The Fed rate cut and liquidity measures will help to shore up the market, but as we stand, there is no reason to enter any market despite their lowly levels. So, I have to disagree. I think it's a great time to get into gold and silver. Is that just me having emotional attachment into it. Because right now, if you were to get in silver right now, I guess I wouldn't go all in because there's a chance it could actually go lower. But the chance of it going back upwards is extremely high. I mean, I'll have to look at it like Bitcoin, I guess, because Bitcoin's down to $5,000, and Bitcoin, I would not say get into. I would say I would buy some Bitcoin because the thing is this is the thing. You have to look at the biggest picture possible, the bigger picture. Because if you don't look at the bigger picture, then you can't see the future, where this is going to blow over to some extent. Now, the recession looming, that could really put us into something where I wouldn't say get in any positions. Just hold what you have. The producers are going to turn into consumers. The people like you and I that own gold and silver are going to be the ones selling it to the people that need it, right? That's really where things could go. So, silver's trade through decade lows. Silver currently trades at levels last seen at the July 2009 after crashing through the December 2015, January 2016 double low print about $13.65. Silver does not enjoy gold's safe haven appeal, and today's sell-off continues the pattern of the low the last 3 weeks after silver printed a multi-month high at $18.95. The chart remains pointed to the downside, although the CCI indicator shows it is heavily oversold, while the 50 and 200 daily moving average are about to cross, forming a negative death cross. So, this could be good, it could be bad. It's looking like it might get a little worse before the storm blows over, but the worst thing I'll be worried about right now is the dollar and really, our government and the banks, because that's who is getting hit the hardest right now. Investors, we can make our money back, but the recession looming, the people that aren't ready, the people that aren't prepared, that's the ones that are going to get hit the hardest. So anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here. I have a lot more work to do today since things are so crazy right now. So I'm going to be sitting here in my office working, busting my butt. Make sure you stay tuned to all these videos. I'm trying to make the most educational, informational, hopeful content for you guys, so you can really have some insight in the world of precious metals and what's going on. So anyways, thanks for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.